Well, good evening, you guys. Howdy, y'all. It's Kate at Kate's Garden Chicken and Cat Rambles. I brought a flashlight in case it got too dark, but I think I'll have plenty of light. So, no chicken action going on. Everybody is in bed. I am just coming over to give the nighttime uh, bedtime, nighttime tummy fullness to these feral cats. Now, this morning, they were all out here in mass again, which they aren't typically. So, I'm sure the neighbors over here are still feeding them in the morning. I don't know how much. It's not really my place to judge, though. I might sound a little judgy, and I can be, but I'm also feeding them, and I'm not the one who's allowed them to just procreate like mad over here. But we're not going to be as cold tonight as we normally are. Oops, sorry. But it's been really rainy, so I'm just going to make sure they got something warm in their tummy for bed. Come on, wee ones. I know, I should have brought the spoon. Don't mind me, I look like hell. Just in lounging clothes, and I've been having some weird issues with blood pressure. So I have to go to the doctor tomorrow. I'm not normally someone who has high blood pressure, but the last several months it's been climbing. And I think last week I was like 178 over 124. I didn't feel, and my pulse rate was like 74. So I didn't feel stressed. I mean, I didn't feel like I had high blood pressure, but that's why it's the silent killer. Come on, Nomad. But I was pissed because I sat there almost an hour before I even got to my appointment. And I got there 15 minutes early. Yeah. So Nomad, I've been feeding over here, out of sight of the others, on the other side of the motorcycle in the truck, because they do force her away from eating over there with them. And if they see where I put it, they come all running over here. Which, I mean, of course, all I have to do is come out, and they all go running back outside. All right. Oops, sorry. There's a bit of the sunset in Delaware on this Monday evening. So I thought I'd just come out and have a wee chat while I check the mail and fed the ferals. You see there's raw peanuts there. There's some over in the old bird bath that I use as a squirrel feeder. Ooh, I was running out of light there for a minute. So anyway, everyone's fed, water's thawed, flag's put back on its little thing. But yeah, it's late evening, and the chickens are already put to bed. I probably should have brought the camera out earlier, but I just didn't feel like it. Some days I'm just like not always just in the mood to film. That might make me a bad content creator, but some days you're just filming's not high on your agenda. But I did remember to put the microphone on, so that's pretty good. So we got none of the northeaster blizzard. I think there's another one coming up the next couple days that's supposed to go up the I-95 corridor, but I'm probably, except for way up in northern Delaware, where we meet up with the I-95 which is up by Philly. Once you get, past Wilmington and Smyrna, you're gradually, like where I'm at, I'm probably 2 hours east of the I-95 corridor. So Laddie's put up, and all the girls are put up. We're supposed to get a lot of heavy rain tomorrow. We're still in flood. We already have flood alert starting last night. Haven't taken down the Christmas wreath, but I took down all the other Christmas ornaments. So yes, what you see there. Okay, back to the flood alerts thing. We are at sea level. Now, where my house sets up on a rise in town, I am about 10 feet above sea level. So even if there's flooding, I sometimes get a moat around the house, but I don't worry about really flooding in here. They've got a good 5 to 6 inches of straw there. Even if it's raining, I will open this up. They've got plenty of things to get up on out of the rain. And when depending on the wind, they like to be in the chicken shack or in the pavilion. This, yep, that is the heat lamp you're seeing. And my breath, that's the smoky stuff. We were having several nights that it was down into the mid to low 20s, but our days have been up like 30 degrees higher. And so with big swings and it being so wet, I just felt more comfortable putting this out here. Yeah, most of the heat is probably just coming out here above the rafters, but it is noticeably a bit warmer in there. And so when they come out in the morning, or if any of the heat is making it into their coop, they got a little bit, but mainly for drying purposes. It helps to keep the straw in there a little more dry, especially if there's a little windy rain. And I noticed yesterday we had a lot of rain, and the birds, of course, came out, ran through it, and got in their shack and came in and out because their food was in here staying dry. And so they were all pretty little wet. And I noticed later than normal, I'm right up to bedtime. So about the last, I don't know, say between 3:30 and 5, they had all managed to come in here, and they were all standing around on the table or on the stump, or if you were up here roosting, and they were all preening and fluffing their feathers. And you don't have to be a genius to realize that, they weren't standing over here doing it. They were up trying to just, enjoy some of the warmth. So I felt more comfortable. There's no way it can cause any fires there. It does have a screen around it. If it did start to fall, it would unplug itself really easily. But Laddie still has his heat on in there, which, like I said, might change the temperature in there maybe 10 degrees, but not a lot. And he doesn't get up right close to it. I notice he has his little poop pile in front of it, so he has putting his little tail feathers closer to it. But, he doesn't have anyone to snuggle with. My two, the Ronald Black Easter Egger Zinzin, she is going through quite a molt. It's crazy weather. Her poor little system's confused. But at night when I peek up, I always, even though there's none in the yard, I know they're all in there. It's like it's like a compulsion, and I have to look up there and I count feet. And I've noticed that she wedges herself between the Brahmas, who are the big fluffy girls who are just now out of molt, so they're all big and fluffy and fat, and so she's keeping herself warm. But I have noticed when they've gotten a little bit wetter, a little rainier, that they do kind of hang out around here before they go inside and preen and absorb a little bit of heat. And I like to think it does help them to dry their feathers a bit. But anyway, that's just me rambling. I'm going to take the mail in. Nothing important, I don't think. Let's see. Something from the American Legion. Tribal newspaper. Yeah, so anyhow, everyone's good. I may leave these Christmas lights out just year round just because I like them at night and they're pretty. And I did turn them off one night, which I thought maybe it'd stop him from starting to crow at 4:35 in the morning. He's not seeing any light because it doesn't even barely gets light at 10 till 7. But it didn't make a difference. So I'll just leave them up. They're pretty. Just that one little string I have. Why not? And anyway, I've ordered a little brooder heater from Rent-A-Coop for chicks. I may actually order chicks online before chick days start in March or April, so that they'll be older by the time it's warm enough to go outside. They'll be old enough to be outside. And I'm probably going to get 10 to 12 more. Cosmo, if I'm going to keep him around, he's got to have more ladies. I'm keeping my eye out for anyone who might need to thin their flock because I've got some older chickens that really aren't laying a lot. I can do that. I would get a few for Laddie, but any girls I get in would have to stay in here. I just don't trust free ranging. I'm afraid they'll just peck and eat at things that they shouldn't. But or I might try to get some Polish, something that's not too small. Or I've thought about some silkies just for the fun of it. And I can set them up out here, put a separate little coop in for them, and then Laddie's little coop can be the only, his little area here will be just for him to come in and me to come in and out, because he's going to free range. But I don't want any females I put in here with him to free range. Like I said, I don't worry about him pecking at poisonous things like eating a pokeberry or a poisonous mushroom. Because of his crooked beak, he doesn't peck and forage that way. He's pretty dependent on his food dish, where it's deep and it's small and he can eat it. And I keep him on a higher protein, a really high, the highest protein feed I can for him, which is the Game Bird, Showbird chick starter. And just because he cannot eat bugs, he cannot forage, he's limited to the size of things he eats. I want to make sure he's getting the optimal amount of protein he can. Like today, I threw out some really soft pieces of French bread, and he attempted to peck at one, but because he's old enough now that I think he's figured out that he's not going to get anything out of it. So anyhow, we had standing water yesterday and a little bit this morning, but it's all, of course, soaked in and ran off. But I'm going to end this. So they're all warm, they're all dry. If we do get any flooding or high winds, they're fine. I totally closed off that wall. So, west, northwest, north, northeast, east. So anything we get that's coming out of the northeast, which I think is how the wind's been coming, even if they do come straight out of the east, they're out of the drafts, they're out of the rain, and all's good. So I hope everyone's having a great start to their new year. I wish I had snow. I'm sure those who have snow wish they didn't. And I just wish everyone is safe and safety. Be safe out there. Stay warm. Hug everybody you love, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye, y'all.